time for love, you gotta run, you gotta run. And there they go again, the voices in your head telling you you don't belong here. You don't belong here. Oh, let go of the light. Oh, lean into the fight. Went a long way when you fell, like an angel in hell, like an angel in hell. Like an angel in hell.
Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more?
Rise up from the ashes, wings on my back, stay lit like a matchstick. We ain't coming back, I swear. Just let go and see what happens. Gotta let go to see the magic happen. They got us a quick change, so we like them in phase. I just bought a new watch, time to make my wrist ring. The zero gravity keeps elevating me. So we like them in phase. I just bought a new watch, time to make my wrist ring. The zero gravity keeps elevating me. Born in the darkness, fight for the light. If this ever die, I'ma fight for my life. Keep fighting on, listen, keep fighting on. We keep moving up, you can't hold us up. So I'm up above the clouds. So I can't see the ground. So I ain't coming down. So no, I ain't ever coming down. Rise up from the ashes, wings on my back, stay lit like a matchstick. We ain't coming back, I swear. Just let go and see what happens. Gotta let go to see the magic happen. They got us a quick change, so we like them in phase. I just bought a new watch, time to make my wrist ring. The zero gravity keeps elevating me. The zero gravity, they got us a quick change, so we like them in phase. I just bought a new watch, time to make my wrist ring. The zero gravity keeps elevating me. So I'm up above the clouds. So I can't see the ground. So I ain't coming down. So no, I ain't ever coming down.
Your time has come. Can't tell hell from the sun. When it's all said and done, who will you become? When nothing's as it seems, don't
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AFR Tier 2 here at Imola. I'm Sandeezy, and joining me tonight is Panda. How are you, my friend?
Good mate, how are you?
Very, very well. Well, we both better be happy. Both P2 finishes in our respective races tonight.
Yeah, that's it. We both had very fun races. Both races, Tier 1 and Tier 3, have both been absolute killers. I hope Tier 2 can deliver on the level that the other two did, because if we get 3 good races one night, it gives me a good sign for the real race tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And, well, the sprint gave us a very good indication, I'd call it, of what we could have tonight, last night, between Max and Charles. That was brilliant to watch, and I assume that this Tier 2 race is going to be just as brilliant.
It sure was. Jumping into quali now. Who are you expecting to be the fastest driver here tonight? I'm going to put my money on either Forehead or Smitty. I'm going to come out and say Smitty will show a bit of his old pace tonight.
Yeah, well, last time out in Australia, it was Smitty who came with the win, if I'm not mistaken. I think I am. But Sneaky has been the driver to beat this season thus far, so you'd be silly to not put him into the conversation. But that's the best thing about this tier. It's competitive, as someone like Kojaki as well in reserve. That man's really quick as well.
So Kojaki reserving, you know, he's a quick driver, known driver in AFR. So we'll see him. And also Mika, he's been stepping up his game recently, so I'd love to see him get a podium tonight.
And absolutely, and I think the biggest thing will be just not binning it. It's a really, really challenging circuit, Panda.
It's a very challenging circuit. You got high curbs, long sweeping corners.
Yeah, a bit of elevation change as well. Aqua Minerale is a real challenge.
That's it, Aqua Minerale especially. That downhill and sweeping to the uphill traction zone, you can lose the rear so easily on that uphill out of turn 12.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not really a corner on this track that doesn't have the potential to bite you. There's gravel always near, the walls are ever close. It's quite twisty and narrow. And we're going to see who can prevail here in qualifying. 16 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock. And we're going to have the first laps commenced shortly by this man, AFR Frozzle, in the Alfa Romeo.
His medium tyres and a bit of time to get the grip out of him. So, starting his lap, it's very. I'll do a track walkthrough at the moment. It's going to be the tough track to master. So now, down the Variante Basso Straight, you get to a top speed here of 320 k's an hour with the DRS open. You run a bit of the wing here, mainly 8 wings. Now into Tamburello corner. Don't want to touch it in those inside Sasha curbs, they'll unsettle the car. Out of turn 3, you're going to need to run it right out to the edge there. Now down to the Villeneuve chicane. You want maximum commitment through here, running all the way out to the curb. Now down to Tosa. Very hard on the traction here. Out of the corner, you can lose the rear very easily. Now coming down to Priatella. Long sweeping corner, 5th gear corner. It's a full commitment corner, that one. Now down to Aqua Minerale, the most famous corner of the track. Full commitment down the gears into 3rd gear. Now up into 4th and 5th. Now down to the Variante Alta chicane. You're going to want to ride the curbs here. That's what the time is, which he chooses to do so. Good chicane by Fossil there. Now down to Ravazza. You're going to want to get the car maximum speed down to up to 300 k's an hour. Hard braking into the apex. Not looking for the sausage curbs. You don't want to hit those in the final corner. Now on the run to the line, the timing line is way before, or just after the DRS line. And it's a 1:15.6 on the medium tyre. Pretty respectable time.
Yeah, it actually looked like a rather tidy lap there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Just shame it was on the medium and it won't really count for much, as these soft times are going to fly in and you'd expect them to overtake them well and truly. As
the delta is 1 second here between the tyres.
Yeah, it is. And Faber still mugged me on the medium tyre, so that made me feel really good. But here comes Nemo. And he goes second fastest at the moment. Drivers will probably not be going too hard too early here with track evolution. Such a thing on this game, even throughout the 18-minute quali. No risk bidding it this early on in qualifying.
The first few laps are just bank laps, get your timing, get your eye in, but very good, respectable time by Ford. A 14.3 straight out of the gate.
Yeah, that's actually a really good time.
That's Q3 Tier 1 time, Matt.
It is, well, I think I did a 0.9, a 13.9 or 0.8 in Q3. So, yeah, that's a really quick time from Forehead. And that banker time will probably get him in contention for pole position, or top 5 definitely, even if he doesn't set another valid one.
Sneaky as well, coming through with a 14.4. He's not far off either.
Yeah, they're both crackers. And, well, you said Forehead, I said Sneaky. Now he just needs Smitty to get himself into the conversation. But we've said that he's not. I don't even, is he even racing tonight? Yes, he is. He's in the Williams. I think my eyes just need a bit of checking.
Yep, and Sneaky goes P2. He has such a commanding lead on the Drivers' Championship right now.
Yeah, he does. Do you want to go through
33 points?
Yeah. Do you want to go through the top 5 of the championship for us?
My pleasure. We have Sneaky leading the championship with 2 wins and 69 points. He's currently 33 points ahead of Dalek with 36 points. Frozzle sitting in P3 with 36 as well. So those two are tied. And you have Psycho, he's always in the conversation. He's had such consistency. Down in 4th place with 33 points, with only a P3 to his name. And then you have Lick in P5 with 1 P2, and he's running 30 points.
It's already such a big sort of point spread there from Sneaky downwards, so they're going to be playing catch up pretty hard, and with the season being really short, it's going to be tough for these drivers to catch him.
That's it. The shorter the season, the more the points are worth.
Now,
so
it was voted to end at Belgium, was it not, the season?
Yes, so I think we're going to be cutting 1 round short because of the release of F1 22.
Shame. Is Monaco on the calendar?
Yes, Monaco's on the calendar.
Yes, that's all I care about. Who doesn't love racing in the Principality? But here comes Spicer. He's going to put his first lap time on the board for the session and just pips his teammate by 600ths of a second. These two have been very close together all season thus far.
Yeah, the AlphaTauri team is a very strong top of the midfield team in Tier 2.
Yeah, it is, and even in all tiers, they're just there. They're always there towards the the top 10, and that's why they have some good points on the board thus far.
Yep, always there, fringe, top 5. I don't think they've made any podium appearances, but they're always there. They're always at points.
That's it, and that's where championships are won. Just consistency, being in the points every single week. And still, we have, it's now 6 drivers without a time. So, easy to invalidate around here. It is a very tough circuit, as we were mentioning. And you just got to go easy out there sometimes.
That's it. Like I was saying earlier, the first few laps is just get your eye in, just get a time on the board, and then you can focus on really maximizing performance. Now, Fluxy's just invalidated his lap. He still doesn't have a time on the board, and you're going to be put under pressure. If you don't put a time on the board, you are going to be put under pressure for the rest of qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely, you will. Dalek, he's valid, but coming into the pit lane, I don't think it was a competitive lap time. May have been a mistake on that lap he was on.
Yep, all the drivers probably just resetting now, getting new fresh tyres on their outlaps.
Here comes Smitty, mate, into Tamburello chicane, nicely navigated, a little bit of curb usage. You want to use as much as you can without really touching those yellow sausages, as Saxa has been disqualified, unfortunately, for blocking the pit lane. So I'm not sure if that was on entry or exit, but that's disappointing for him. Around Tozer comes Smitty now on the soft compound tyres, purple sector 1 for the Williams. And we rise up towards Pirotella now, 6th gear, just to try and keep up that minimum speed, easier traction on the exit, down in towards Aqua Minerale as he round that curb. 4th gear, short shift to 5th, and just a little bit too much throttle through there. It was looking good, but just got a little too much on the throttle, and he is in the wall again.
Just get that rear wheel over the curb and just wasn't planted. You need to be planted 2 wheels off, 2 wheels on that curb. If there's only one, you will spin.
Absolutely. Here comes Frozel out of the Variante Alta. He was looking good on that medium tyre, we noted. And he looked good on this soft compound tyre as well. Down towards the first part of Ravazza. Get as wide as you can. Don't cross the white line. Swing it in. Carry as much speed. And then straighten it up. Power to the line. Hug the wall. Cross the line. And P4 just behind his teammate Frozel. 3,000s between the two Romeos.
Qualifying so far from the Romeos right there.
They've been up there all season, both Romeos in this tier. Really, really good in qualifying, these two.
Just need to
stitch it together over 32 laps tonight.
That's it. Frozel, he can stitch it together. But Zay, he's got a podium to his name, but he needs to join his teammate. Granted, there's only 16 points separating them. It's still early days in the season.
Early days, but we're already a third of the way through the season, which is scary.
I like to think of it, we have our NBA sort of lockout season this season.
Do. I do enjoy this short season, and I do enjoy racing at what most people would describe as the better tracks on the game.
We've got a lot of good tracks coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of street circuits to come as well, which will be delicious.
Oh, they will really spice the championship up.
Ooh, just flicking to Snickers, and he's facing the wrong way, which is never ideal. Here comes A. He's around the final corner now. That looked quick. And you'd expect him to improve on this lap as he hasn't pulled into the pit lane. And he goes to pole position. A 1:14.265. Can Sneaky respond here as he comes across the line? It's an invalid lap for him. But he's got a nice little toe off one of the Alpines here down the main straight. But I think he invalidated at the final corner, mate. Or right at the end of the lap, because this one's invalid as well.
He must have, because it's a decent next.
Yes. And that's really going to interrupt his flow in qualifying.
That's a great lap by Zay. 14.2.
Oh, it is a great lap. That's top 10 in Q in Tier 1. So if you're getting yourself into the top 10 in Tier 1, you're doing something right.
Tier 2 drivers are really showing great pace in qualifying tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Those three at the front are really, really quick, and well, the guys behind have still got time in the board, I'm sure. Put it together at the end of the session. They've just got to know where the limit is. It's funny because at places like the Villeneuve chicane, you might want to push a little bit too hard, and that will actually cost you lap time. So you've just got to stitch it together nice and neatly across all of the corners.
It's a lot of corners here where it's not about how fast you can take it, it's about how you set up the exit to carry the time into the next corner.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, interesting, Forehead being an outlier in the top 6, otherwise it would be 2 Red Bulls, 2 Alpha Tauris and 2 Alfa Romeos.
And Wahid is retired? Is that... No, it's on the soft compound, so that's an interesting decision. I don't think he crashed, unless I had missed it.
Yeah, I think he just retired in the pit lane. Darkblue comes across the line with a 14.87. Sets himself nicely in P5.
Mr. Spicer, he was even with his time. A little snap there through Ravazza too. And he crosses the line and he goes 2/10 faster, and that puts him up into 4th place. So just building. It's building for this man here.
I think very nicely. It's coming together. Goes up to P4. I still think he has some left in the tank.
Dodge is on a fly, 6/10 up. And I assume he's going to find even more time here in this final sector.
He's coming through. He's going to charge down to the line. And he goes up and challenges P8.
Good at lap time from him. We've got Dalek coming, mate. And he's coming into the pit lane, actually, which isn't ideal. What about Smitty? He has done another invalid lap. So he is really struggling at this point in time in qualifying.
Smitty is, I'd say, definitely the first or second most experienced driver on this grid at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other being Psycho. Both the veterans of AFR.
Been around since the beginning. Kojaki reserve for the Alpine squad. Down into Aqua Minerale. Oh, that's a lot of curb on the inside. A lot of curb and a lot of throttle, and that was a moment, and that's his lap time over.
That's right. Yeah, I remember AFR history. Smitty is the most senior member on this grid.
Senior as in been around the longest, or senior as in oldest?
Senior as in been around the longest. He joined the end of season 3. Psycho was somewhere in season 4 or 5.
Eight seasons is a long time. That's, well, F1 2018? 18?
Yeah,
AFR start? Yeah. It's scary to think I've only been league racing since F1 2020. But 2 years has flown by.
They have. Now, Vassar on his outlap. Looking to make a good time for the Alpine squad.
It's Psycho out there on the lap, coming through sector 1. A 10th down on his previous best, so he's going to have to find time throughout the rest of the lap. Or, well, it's probably too late to come into the pit lane, so he might be able to do a cool down and then another push or back-to-back pushes, but he's got to make it count now.
It's too late to come into the pit lane now. He's got to make
definitely.
It count. Takes the sausage
Oh, that's
curve.
so much. How did that thing not go spinning around? That is a whole lot of curve, and that's a whole lot of curve. That's too much curve. That is invalidation.
Way too much curb. He's going to cool down. He has to go again, reset, get the errs back as much as he can for another push lap.
I mean, he has the liberty to do a whole cooldown lap if he chooses to, but he hasn't exactly let the tyres cool off if he's going again. But I don't think he is, so maybe it is a cooldown for the AlphaTauri. Nemo has backed off of his attempt. So Frozzle in the middle part of the lap.
Now Forehead starting his lap.
Can he respond? Who's going to take pole here? Sneaky, Forehead, or Zay, or will it be an outsider that we're not expecting?
I reckon it's going to be Forehead. We know he's quick. We know he can get the most out of the car in qualifying. It's his race pace and racecraft that is the questionable aspect of his skills.
I think I'm going to back Zay here, mate. As an Alfa Romeo driver, you got to back your own teammates. Is it the other Alfa Romeo goes up into 4th, so he finds a 10th on his lap, and well, he might as well go for a back-to-back here. Nothing to lose for him now. But on board with Forehead, mate, down into Aqua Minerale, 4th gear, pick up the throttle. That was very nicely rotated through there. And comes up towards the Variante Alta. He's got to try and cut as much as possible here, but he's down on his lap time. He's going to have to find time. He could have cut that inside of the second chicane, part of the chicane there a little bit more. And he's going to plunge down towards Ravazza. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. Does it move out of the way? No, it doesn't. This is going to really be affecting him daily. This will be a little bit of dirty air for the Aston Martin, but he might get rewarded with a bit of a tow here towards the line. Forehead, he crosses the line, and he stays second fastest. Could not find time.
He's out of purple sector 3. Daylight cost him. We might hear something about that in the stewards room after the race.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be happy with that. Vassar is crossing the line. P9 at the moment, so that's a good qualifying for him. And that is his final lap time on the board as Darkly, mate. In the Ferrari goes 4th fastest. What about Zay? He's coming down towards Ravazza now. Oh, that was very deep. And does Zay go again? We're waiting for the checkered flag to come
Sneaky
out.
is a 10th up on his time.
Sneaky a 10th up. Zay could not improve. Sneaky, it's
out
not
of
going to be enough.
Alta down to turn 16 in Ravazza.
A 10th is not going to be enough for him. He's going to have to find more time here. It's going to be so close. Maximises the trick width. He's on the power so early.
Corner, put flat to the floor. Across the line, what's it going to be?
It's pole.
And it's pole with the 1:14.257 only. That tiny bit quicker.
About Spicer stays 8th fastest. McLaren's off in the gravel. Psycho, can he improve here at the death? No, he is invalidated. Fluxy, he is not on a valid lap. What about Vasa? He is backed off of his lap. So I think that is qualifying done and dusted. Sneaky takes pole position by... Get this, mate.
100th quicker than Zay.
8 thousandths of a second.
I
You
think
blink
that
and you
will
miss it.
conclude our qualifying. So we got Sneaky on pole, Zay second, Forehead third.
I've totally been on mute for like a while, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we weren't talking over each other somehow, which is a miracle. I apologise, but... What a pole position like from Sneaky there at the end. 8 thousandths of a second from Zay. And Forehead just couldn't put it together at the end. And, well, that traffic might have played a little bit of a factor in that.
Although Forehead, he does have questionable racecraft, his race pace is what shines.
Racecraft's not an issue if you're racing at the front, is it? Just break away at the start.
Leading.
Just break away at the start and it's not a problem.
Now, Zay is in perfect... That P2 grid slot is where you actually want to be. Because P1, you are facing towards the outside of the track and you are facing...
You have to turn straight away,
angle.
don't you? You really have to turn right hard when you get going. So, as you're saying, second is a good spot to be. Third, fourth, not so bad either.
Yeah, the pole position grid slot at this track is just not that good. You just need to turn your wheel in the middle of your launch, which creates wheel spin.
Yeah, that's right, mate. And unlike in real life, they can't really line up facing down the straight. They can't line up with a little bit of angle. You get planted straight on that grid box.
Which is why I really hope there's a setting in F1 22 where you can line up in your own grid box.
That manual pit stops would be nice. If you have to pull into the pits yourself, that'd be pretty cool. Like in iRacing or AC.
Oh, we got a wet race.
Well, I hadn't seen the chat, so I wasn't aware. But speaking of the chat, hello to everyone. Hope you're enjoying. 32 laps of inclement weather here to come. Oh well, maybe not 32 laps, but definitely laps here of the 32 race.
It's very interesting that, because with the P1 grid slot being facing away, the rain makes it pronounced.
Oh, it makes it even worse because it's so much harder to get a good start. And I'll tell you what, it looks rather wet. I don't know if it looks extreme tire, the full wet.
I reckon we're going to see the blue stripe wet
Does
tires.
anyone, yeah, we might, but if that's the case, does anyone gamble on the Inters? What is the weather doing? We don't know. We're about to find out very, very shortly.
I like to leave it like that, find out which drivers are on what tire.
Oh, I see wets. I see wets.
I see full wets. Full wets the whole way down.
Yeah, full wets for all 20 of the drivers.
So we got a typical tier 2 race, wet race.
I tell you what, I was praying for a bit of rain
So was
before we
I.
loaded in, but because it tends to be a little bit of an equaliser when you haven't done much preparation. But we'll see who has got the wet pace here. And as you're saying, the Tier 2 boys have the most practice in the rain in terms of their actual league racing this game.
Yeah, that's it. Now, for those who don't know, Tier 2, for some reason, always gets wet races.
We used to blame Apollo Pepsi, but we can't blame him anymore. He's moved up to Tier 1.
So it must just be that tier 2.
It's just that 8:30 time slot. It's cursed.
It's just always raining.
It is. Sneaky Zay on the front row from Forehead, Darkly, Smitty, your top 5. And then Frozzle, Kojaki, Spicer, Psycho, and Dodge. And then in 11th place we have Basic, then Vasa, Heed, Mika, Nemo, and then it's Fluxy, Kufra Cowboy, Snickers, Dalek, and Saxa rounding out the grid. And a really, really strong showing from the Alfa Romeo squad here. They are in a great position.
But now quali means nothing.
Nothing.
It's all about their wet weather skill.
It really means nothing when it's this kind of weather, because in the dry, it's like, yeah, he's got good dry weather pace here. Who's got good wet weather pace? And the start is going to be critical here, mate.
Start's going to be absolutely critical. Short shift. It's a short shift launch all the way to 5th or 6th gear.
who can nail that throttle pedal the best, as we are here in Imola for Tier 2, Season 8, Aussie Formula Racing. I am Sandeezy, Panda joins me alongside, and we're about to get kicked off here.
Cars pulling into their grid slots. Mercedes, not sure who that is a little bit behind, but he will pull up to his grid slot shortly, and we are ready for racing. Take it away, Deezy.
Thank you, sir. Well, here we go. The lights are coming on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights here in the rain at Imola, and we are racing, and someone started out immediately as an Alpine. Is that a good start from the front row? I can't see. We're looking from the back. What is this, Codemasters? But here we go down towards the first corner. Sneaky is ahead of Zay, who challenged him down the inside, backs out of it. And then as we come through turns 1, 2, we are looking to get a clean start. A little bit of wheel banging here from a few of the drivers. And as one of the Alfa Romeos is around, he's having it up, and then I think an Alpha Tauri has spun in sympathy.
There's a
and
big crash behind.
A
Both
big
McLarens
safety
involved.
car.
We have a McLaren out. Oh, that is a massive accident behind. Both McLarens caught up. Psycho got caught up in it as well. We got Kung Fu Cowboy, sorry, also caught up in it.
I only just saw, I think it was Psycho, so they all checked up behind Frozzle, who had a sort of half spin. And I don't know if Frozzle got, I don't know if he got bumped back around or gathered it up, but he saved the car nonetheless. And then Psycho kind of just had a little sympathy spin, and obviously that set off the chain of reaction, which has seen damage to many cars here, and safety car is out.
I think Frozzle, as he was gathering up, just tapped Psycho, and then Psycho just went round and collected both McLarens.
Absolutely. Let's see who's got damage. I think Kojaki there has a missing end plate.
Mercedes with damage,
Yeah,
Dodge
those
with
four
no
at the
wing,
back. Yeah,
Lucy with no wing, and Psycho, I would assume he also has line damage.
Dalek has no wing. Nemo, I think, is okay. Saxa looks alright. So 5, 6 cars we expect to see here in the pit lane. Probably, yeah, probably 5 or 6. But what a start from Mika, and what a start from Basink. Up 6 and 4 spots respectively. Sax is up 7 as those have come into the pit lane. And it is wing changes for them all. And it is wet tyres for them all still. So that indicates that it's probably going to be raining for a while at this sort of intensity, Panda, if none of them have gambled on the intermediates from the position that they're in now.
I have a feeling you're right. I think we're going to see rain of this intensity for the majority of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't think you're wrong there. Still everyone on the wet tyres. And Kojaki also has a 3-second penalty. Sorry, has a drive-through penalty, sorry. And that would be for speeding under the safety car Delta. So, bit of a shocking start for him.
There just must be nothing. If you're running cockpit view, I feel sorry for you.
This is where you'd love to be running the low graphic settings.
Yes, agreed.
The visibility, it makes such a difference. And I'd love to run no rain, but when I go back and play on console, that's not an option, so I have to suck it up on PC when it rains. Or else I'll go back to console and I'll be like, what is this?
And interestingly enough, this track is hard as it is. So in the wet, coming out of Aqua Minerale, that just must be...
Oh. Yeah, that would be... It's still probably a 4th gear exit, but we'll have a look. We'll have a look once we sort of get going in a few laps and it settles down a bit. We'll watch the drivers through Aqua Minerale, because it's going to be very, very tough, as Bert Mylander just looks like he's floating over the circuit right now in that red Mercedes safety car. He's got grip hacks tonight.
Ben Mylander, the driver of this Formula 1 safety car.
I feel like we're going to get a little bit of him later on tonight in the Emilia Romagna GP.
Oh, I reckon it's pretty much guaranteed we're going to see him tonight.
Well, he's been in both races since we returned in 2020. So
I
good
am hoping we
omens.
see rain.
I just don't think it was. We weren't supposed to when I checked earlier in the week the percentages. But at least we got a bit of rain here tonight in terms of the pixel racing.
See, at least 1 out of 3 tiers has a wet race, which is always good.
You don't want more than that.
Nah. At least 1 out of 3, just to show what a wet race can be like. So we're just waiting on 2 cars to catch up to the field now, Kajaki and Kung Fu Cowboy. Both were caught up in that incident. Not sure about Kojaki. He's already had 2 stops.
So in Imola, it is light rain showers until 4 p.m. There might be a bit of rain.
Interesting.
That could really spice things up. Probably not for the better, because that Ferrari looked absolutely on rails in the wet. So much better than anything else out there.
This season is just stupid.
Yeah, what a performance from Red Bull and Max yesterday, though, to take the sprint after it. I thought it was one and done when Charles was a second and a half ahead early on. And I'm just looking at the sort of GP build-up. It is definitely wet on the circuit right now, and it does not look like it's going to ease off. So it might be a bit like was it last year that we started in the wet and went to the dry and Lewis went off?
Yes,
Or was that?
that's it.
Yes.
So we got wet in tier 2, wet in the real F1 race. We're coming to the climax of a great night of racing. With only more yet to come with the real life Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
The real question is who's going to join us in the P2 club, mate, for this weekend of AFR?
Zay looks sitting pretty, but it's so early days yet. I reckon, and Big Al has proven we could have someone back in 18th or 19th come through to the podium.
Absolutely. Harder to do an alternate strategy in the in a rain-affected race, but if it's going to be like this, it might even be a no-stop for a couple of the drivers if they feel like they can do it. This safety car would definitely be helping that idea if it's going to stay this wet.
See, agrees. So safety car will come in this lap. The field is now bunched up.
Yeah, we should get confirmation for that very shortly, and there it is. There's now Sneaky's a job to set the pace for this safety car restart, and well, Panda, it's all your call, mate.
Thank you very much. So Sneaky has to keep the same pace all the way to when it's his discretion when to go. So he has to keep the same pace until that moment. He could be up for a penalty if he doesn't keep that same pace that is in the rule book. So he's weaving back and forth, just trying to pick his right moment. The safety car has entered the pit lane. And he's getting ready, he's gone.
Rules A wide.
Very, very wide, but Sneaky with an absolute killer restart. Already pulls 1.2 seconds. Zay looking rather under pressure from forehead. They're going too wide behind, but forehead, he's looking around. He's making a move. Down the inside he goes on Zay. Great move there. Bit of wheel rubbing there. Darkly, he's looking for a good opportunity.
Or 3
Zay,
wide.
3 wide. Zay just gets swallowed.
He
He's
got
down
so
to
wide.
sixth.
He got so far in wide in Ravazza 2 at the restart, and that just set him off to get past, and around goes Darkly in the Villeneuve chicane. A little bit of side-by-side contact with, I think it might have been Smitty or Frozel, and well, he's going to be plumb lasting.
Spinning Ferrari there. Zay, terrible restart all the way down to P6. He's under threat from Mika now. And Sneaky, he's just gone. Already 2.2 seconds in the lead, clearly showing his wet weather dominance. And Smitty up to P3, now putting forehead under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zay just had a shocking restart, and he just Constantinaed backwards. lost 5 positions. He's gained back one to the Ferrari, but he's trying to make another one back down towards Ravazza, and under braking, he moves ahead of Basink. That's a lovely move. So hard to get the car stopped down there in these conditions. Downhill, through the apex, it's so easy to go deep.
Yeah, that's right. And with the wet weather, it just compounds the effect. So if you go off, it's so much harder to get back on, get the crap off the tires, and just keep going.
As we see Dalek moving ahead of Vasa, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Saxa, I believe. As we come down towards the Villeneuve chicane, side by side, the two are helping on the inside, which is now the outside to the second part, and he's just run a little bit to the gravel there. Look at this, they're full wide, and in the wall and out is Nemo. Nemo's out, and that could cause another safety car, and it is another safety car.
So we have our second safety car already on lap 6.
I think it was really all on his own there. He saw the opportunity with the two ahead squabbling and just got really fishtaily out of the Villeneuve chicane, and that was his express ticket to the wall and back to the garage.
His race is done.
And Sneaky's awesome lead is back to 0 once again.
Based on that previous restart, I think he's still sitting pretty.
Yeah, I wonder if Forehead's going to do the same mistake as Zay did. Maybe Zay can get the better restart this time and get back towards the podium positions. Well, we'll probably have to wait a lap or two to find out.
Yeah, that's right. And just Sneaky, just that previous reset just goes through. He has so much confidence in these conditions. Everyone behind him was just struggling to get the power, and he's just gone.
Again, a pretty clear indication that it's going to stay wet. No one coming into the pit lane.
Yep, I think the race engineers telling him that it will stay these conditions for quite some time.
It's not quite the worst weather I've seen on this game. I actually saw a lightning, like a storm and lightning sort of thing in the weather forecast a couple of weeks ago, which was absurd. The conditions were ridiculous. You could not get any temperature on the wets. But it is tricky. And we're only on lap 7 now. And you've just got to even be careful under the safety car in terms of tyre warming. You're just going to make sure you're not throttling and weaving really at all together, because that could spill the end of your day.
That's it, and these cars they're so twitchy to drive in the wet with their hybrid powertrains, and the fact that they only weigh 650 to 700 kilos and have 1,000 brake horsepower, positive power to weight, they are just so tricky to drive in the wet conditions.
Oh, absolutely. Anything with a positive power to weight is already a whole different beast. And then you put the aerodynamics of a Formula 1 car into the contention. It's just a whole different gravy. And really the limiting factor in these conditions is the tyres. That is what is holding you back from going any faster.
Their maximum clearance is 80 litres per second. They can't go any more than that. So once you reach that 80 litres, you'll start to aquaplane even on the wets. Now, I don't think we're in those conditions here today, but it just goes to show that yes, the tyres are the limiting factor with how fast these cars can go in the wet.
Yeah, and when the tyres start needing to clear more than, well, really 70 litres, that's when it gets dangerous, and that's when we stop racing, like in Spa last season. Real life Formula 1 this is.
It's treacherous.
It was a shame, but because everyone loves Spa. Who doesn't love Spa?
I think it's a universally loved track, so it was a shame, but it needed to be done.
And to have these rumours that it might be forced off of the calendar is not a nice rumour to be hearing.
This rumour?
Formula 1's in a tricky position right now. A tricky position even though they're bringing in lots of money. It's, you know, do you stay loyal? Do you know, take less money? Or, you know, Formula One still has a lot of debt from the old days under Bernie Ecclestone. But Libby Media, they're driving those profits the last few years, and there's a whole new fan base of Formula One fans, which is awesome. But disregarding that, we're going back to racing at the end of this lap.
So back to racing, lap 8. I think we've had only 2 laps of clean racing, so most of the race has been run under the safety car so far. So we have Sneaky again leading the pack. Now we have Thor head behind them.
And again, it's a slow restart. It might even be slower than last time. Now, you went in the middle of the 2 Ravatzes last time. Is he going to go in the same place this time? I think he is going. And he's got a little jump on forehead here, but not anything near as he did last time. But here we go, 8 tenths across the line. A great start again once from Sneaky. Forehead, he's got Smitty for company, who is coming hard at him. Down towards the Tamburello chicane we go. Inside for the Aston Martin, outside for the Williams, and Forehead hanging on for now. Goes in a little bit deep. Could this open him up down towards the Villeneuve chicane from the Williams? He's going to try and get back under him. Not quite on this occasion. Forehead has just enough pace to stay ahead into the Villeneuve chicane.
Yeah, but the fact that Smitty is there is going to... Forehead's concentration is going to be on Smitty. He's not going to be looking ahead to catch Sneaky now. And we have our first driver trying to gamble on his tyres. Dalek, he's chosen the intermediate time.
Yes, we do. So he's on the intermediate tyre. Interesting time to be pitting when you could have done that under the safety car, but nonetheless, he's on the intermediates and we'll monitor his progress. The track conditions don't really look like they've changed to me.
They look about the same. Slights out. And now we have Mercedes who's spun around. I think that is Fluxy.
It is. Smitty's still right up on under the Aston Martin here, and out of Ravazza too. Good exit for the both of them. And you have basically unlimited ERS in these conditions. The regeneration of the battery power is so much more substantial than in the dry.
Brakes half as much, or twice as much, I should say. Sorry. So
yeah, and just coasting. You generate coasting with the MGH. So
the tussle back here with Wahid leading his own little pack. He's fallen off.
Forward spun. Or has he? He's at a half spin. He's gone off into the gravel, and it's Smitty and Frozzelworth through. And now Zay's trying to get involved, and it's a bit of a poor run out of Toza for the Aston Martin. The Alfa Romeo is looking up the inside towards Piratella, and he goes through. Does he? Yes, he does. He makes a move down the inside of Piratella, past the Aston Martin. And Forehead's lost 3 spaces on this lap 10. And his teammates just hit him off as well.
Yeah, he's back down with his teammate. I wonder what's going to happen there.
The reserve alongside him, he's not really going to care about the team dynamic. And I think there's a little touch there into the very anti-Alta as well.
Tap from Basnik into Forehead. I think that might have caused him wing damage. He's fallen off.
Yeah, he looks slow. Always wide. It should to continue, but yeah, he must have wing damage. He's dropped a second. So quickly.
Smitty is a second and change behind Sneaky. He is gaining.
He is. He's closing the gap. So monitor that as well. And Dalek has gone past Fluxy, so he's making progress on those inters, but I think that Mercedes is carrying a little bit of damage, I suspect. But fastest lap for Dalek on the intermediate tyre, mate.
It's a sign. That is a sign. I think we've reached a crossover. The inters have now come into their own, so we will see pit stops happening soon.
And
drivers would have seen that fastest lap.
This is why I was so surprised that no one gambled further down the field under the safety car, because if they had, they'd be with the pack on the fast tyre, and well, they would come out, if everyone stopped now, in the lead of the race.
I disagree, but I think it was at that point where it's just, you don't know. You don't know whether the Inters are going to be a second a lap
spinner.
slower.
Vasa out of Aquamini Rally. That's the second driver in 2 laps to go off there. And, well, it is treacherous around here in these conditions.
So we see the pack going through Ravazza. Will we see anyone blink into the pits?
Not on this occasion.
No one deciding to yet.
Smitty, look at him, half a second behind now. So he'll be
Oh,
getting
we
a
have
little
our
bit of
first
slipstream.
blinkers.
Basink Miko.
Miko. Psycho. All 3 choosing to pit. It's very interesting how other drivers haven't taken the gamble. You would have thought,
Yeah,
when
very.
you see another driver set fastest lap on the drier tyre, that's your sign.
Yeah, and well, Dalik's fastest lap is a second faster than Smitty, 9/10 faster than Sneaky, so it is considerably faster than the wet tyre at the moment.
Interesting, we don't see Smitty using this to his advantage to go for an undercut.
Well, maybe this lap. He had the chance last lap to pull that undercut in response to the Red Bull staying out. As he gets a little bit wayward there through the Variante Alta Sneaky. And that just puts Smitty right under his rear wing now as we trundle down towards Ravazza now. And is there going to be any sort of move down here? No, Smitty closes up. It's just the speed washes off through Ravazza too. Who is going to blink? Who's going to move to the pit lane? Or are they both staying out? A little wiggle there from the Williams, and he wiggles himself into the pit lane. And he's going for that intermediate tyre. And well, everyone else staying out, apart from Spicer. Spicer, he's coming into the pit lane. What about the others? I think the Ferrari of Saxa is coming in. He comes from 8th place after starting last, mate. So it was a great first little stint there from the Ferrari. But we'll really need to monitor where this man, Dalik, is going to come out in all of this. Where is Dalik? Where is Smitty? Smitty is at pit exit, and Dalik is going to take the net lead of this race.
Dalik is leading.
Yeah, he is leading after being last.
That just goes to show, he took the gamble, it paid off. Now Smitty, him pitting that lap was crucial.
What was I saying about not being able to alternate strategies in the wet?
Yeah.
Disregard that.
Disregard that, but now we see experience outweigh the inexperience here. Same way what Hamilton did to Lando Norris at the Russian Grand Prix last year, except we're going the opposite direction. We're going drier. So I reckon we're going to see Sneaky's going to fall back. He's going to be swallowed by the field, I reckon. He's just rounding the Ravazza corners now. He's got to pit. He has to pit.
You'd think so, both. One of the Alfa Romeos is probably going to really suffer from this.
Yeah, that's it. That's Sneaky.
Fossil staying
into
out
the pit
again.
lane.
Staying out again. Both Alfa Romeos staying out. Are they hoping for a safety car now? Forehead stayed out as well. If they came in now, they'd come out in that massive gap behind Smitty, you'd imagine, before the Mercedes. They've all stayed out.
Top 4 have stayed out. This is not the right call. The Inters are clearly faster at this point.
This is just wrong. It's simply the wrong decision. We're seeing how much speed they have. Look, there's Sneaky. He's not even at the pit exit like Smitty was. So Smitty is going to have a 2-second, 3-second advantage via the one-lap undercut.
Look at the gap, Smitty. Remember, Smitty only was just on Dalik's gearbox, and now he's opened up 2.1 seconds in a lap.
Yeah, it was 0.2 tenths, so that's a 2.3, 2.4 second gain for Smitty for a one-lap undercut.
This is not a good sign for the 2 Alfa Romeos, forehead and Mahid, up ahead. They're just going to be. They're going to lose so much track position by staying out.
At this point, it's a prayer. It's a safety car prayer.
They're going to be absolutely wishing for a safety car, especially the 2 Alfa Romeos after such an impressive
Ooh,
call.
Dalek. He's pushing the limit on those inters through Aquamini Riley. And a little snap there, but all under control from the Haas driver at the moment. And that Haas
Chooses to stay out.
Zay's in. What about Wahid? Is he going to admit defeat on these wets. I think he is.
Let's see where Forehead comes out now because
He's going to be near Spicer, I think. Probably behind Spicer.
So there goes Smitty with the fastest lap.
Well, here comes Spicer. As the Aston Martin is exiting the pit lane. And he's going to get
Coming
clear,
on full speed.
Zay is going to be very close with the Alpha Tauri down towards the towards the second corner actually. And Zay holds on into towards Tamburello.
So Zay and Forehead didn't lose much track position.
They lost just time.
In fact, they haven't lost any. They've only lost to Smitty and Dalek. However, yes, you're right. They have lost that precious time.
Zay is at the exit of Tozer. Smitty and Dalek were at the exit of Piratella.
So they have lost spades of time. And Frizzle, he's got a pit. Like he's just got to admit defeat. Or
Was a car off? Could this be the safety car he needs? No, he's got going again. It is Fluxy in that Mercedes. He gets going again, and into the pit lane comes Frizzle, admits defeat, and he's getting the right tyre on. It's just you have to have the right tyre on at the right time in these conditions. There is no point being on the wrong tyre.
no, there isn't. And he was. Oh, the car's driving past him now. He was right behind him.
He was.
He was 2 seconds, 3 seconds behind him, and now look, they're just driving off into the distance.
His challenge for the podium is well and truly gone if these three don't trip
Forehead.
over each other or a curb.
Forehead with the undercut on Frizzle.
Can't really say I'm surprised at that given the condition change. But look at this for the lead, mate. Less than half a second. Smitty glued to the back of Dalek. And pretty similar on the BRS, and that Red Bull is looking very, very aggressive in the background. He is closing at a rate of knots.
That with 4 lap older tyres than Smitty.
Shouldn't make
That is-
too much of a difference. Tyre wear is relatively low yet on this circuit.
But honestly, if I were Dalek, I wouldn't even care at this point.
I mean, he's pulled off a masterclass.
He has come from nowhere, took a gamble on the inter tyres, and now has first place track position, net first place, I might add, and the actual lead.
Imagine if someone had actually done it under the safety car, mate. They would be at the first corner right now. All Fluxy is retired on the circuit. And we have another safety car.
Yep, another safety car. Oh, Frizzle would be
That is a big
kicking
bailout.
himself.
He'd be kicking himself, but he'd also be happy because that's bailed him out. It's going to get him back onto the lead train.
That's right, he's lost the time, he's lost the track position, but this has just brought everyone back together. So the time that the two Alphas and Forehead have lost have basically been just
Their
they've got
mistake.
that time back.
They've been bailed out of their mistake, effectively.
That's right. They've made back what they lost, basically. However, they have lost 1 or 2 spots track position.
It's probably going to take it. Well, it's definitely be another lap after this one, mate. There'll be another. It's pretty hard to catch up in these conditions, especially as you just don't really want to be pushing in these conditions when you don't need to be.
That's it. You push too hard, car will just bite you.
But also, Khufu has, well, he has a drive-through penalty, but Vassar has the advantage of being able to push a little bit longer. And not just that, that'll keep his tyres in a better temperature window, it'll just keep him acquainted with the track conditions. If you have 2 racing laps here where you're not really sure what the track's doing, you go racing once again, it's so easy just to be hesitant. So easy, or so easy just to overstep the limit a little bit too much.
That's right. The safety car really does throw your expectations out the window.
Your rhythm gets blown up when Bert Mylander comes out onto the circuit, and you just got to
Especially with
have the
changing
self-control.
weather.
Oh yeah, that's especially when it's wet. The track is changing every single lap, and it looks like it's getting drier by the looks of it because the lap times continue to improve as the tyres are continuing to wear. But how much is it improving? It's better than the track getting worse. It is better. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm still seeing rain, but it looks a lot lighter on my screen. I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, it definitely looks lighter than when we started. On the spectator broadcast cams, it looks just as treacherous as well as we commenced. But on the onboards, it definitely looks lighter in terms of what I'm seeing. But still definitely wet. The slicks are a long way off at this point in time. But if it stops raining, certain tracks on this game, I don't know if this is one of them, they change remarkably quickly.
That's right. It could be sun's out, dries on in a matter of 5 laps.
I did a league race on Thursday night at France, and it was still raining. It was still cloudy, and slicks were faster. It went from inters to slicks. And it stopped raining as I was in the pit lane putting the slicks on, and by the end of that lap, all of the standing water was gone. It was a dry track in less than a lap.
I think, and also there's a chance, it's a very rare chance you could be in a mixed conditions race. I remember back in the day, AFR Season 3 Brazil, there was no right tyre to be on. The inters were overheating and the slicks were just too slippery.
I don't know what you'd rather be on. Probably the inters in that case. At least they've got some temp. But here we go. When does Dalek go now? Well, he should have gone then. He had a massive gap, but he's going to go around the final corner. Is he? Oh, contact with Smitty. And he goes back underway. Luckily, no penalty for both of them. Probably just a little nudge between them. And here we go. And a brilliant start from Sneaky once again, mate. He's pushing the Williams.
That's it, Sneaky. Really got the start. He goes around the
he's
outside.
on the grass.
A bit of wheel banging between Smitty and Sneaky.
The forehead sticking his nose in there and he pushes Smitty. He's pushed Sneaky wide and into the wall.
Sneaky's off. Sneaky's off into the wall. He's got to have damage from... Oh, yes, he does. He's got so much damage from that.
Oh, it's just absolute it's a tragedy for him. Forehead just stuck his nose in there. And, well, obviously he just didn't anticipate that. And his race is being ruined.
Stuck his nose into there. That gap was always going to disappear.
On a non-braking event like that, no overlap, really. That was a bit of a silly decision from the Aston Martin, and definitely one for the stewards to look at, I imagine, later on.
I think we'll see a penalty from that one.
Let's not speculate. Let's just call the action, but Sneaky's not going to be happy with that, but that's a great news for his championship rivals.
That's it, Smitty and Dalek, who is actually... Dalek is our person who's second in the championship. So with Sneaky out of the points, Dalek gets a free 25 points on Sneaky. That'll bring it to 50... That'll bring it to 61 to 69 points.
I love to hear it. Alfa Romeo swapping position down the main straight. They feel like he has the faster race pace, evidently. I assume they're together, working together. Like it definitely look like a coordinated sort of pass down the main straight.
If we finish as is, there will only be 7 points in the championship. Sneaky's lead in the championship would have just been evaporated.
Yep, one bad race can change a lot. And, well, that's why you've got to think about these things. I know it wasn't really his fault at all, but that's racing. Sometimes a menace can just take you off.
That's it. That is just it. That is racing.
Now, who has the better race pace at the front? That's the question. Now that Sneaky, who looked like he was definitely the fastest, has been eliminated from that fight. Is it Smitty? Is it Dalek? Is it Forehead? Is it Zay? We wait and find out. 12 laps to go as we cross the line. Smitty pumps in another fastest lap in his Williams. Already down to 23% on that ERS. He's juicing hard.
Another thing to note too, if it finishes as is, Alfa Romeo will jump from third in the constructors to first.
Yeah, they're on here. Now they've just got to be smart about it. Zay not really making progress on the leaders at the moment, but the way this race has been going, that's probably a good thing. If he can just consistently put in the lap times, he might end up on the podium.
That's it. Just they're both light astern at the moment. They just need to keep their heads down, put little laps on the board, and get to the checkout, I reckon.
Oh, great move from Kojaki there, Piratella. He got the better run out of Toza and up the hill, pulled to the outside and made the move on Sacks up. And he is now going to pursue the second Esteban of Basink.
Yep, so Kojaki and Saxa second places. Smitty coming around onto the Variante Bassett straight. 6/10 behind. Dalek is sitting very pretty at the moment. He's got 63% errors compared to Smitty's 20.
Yeah, it looks like Smitty's burning to keep up. Just doesn't want to get dropped by the Haas. And he's just got to be careful because you get that low, it's almost impossible to affect a pass down that main straight. With no DRS, Dalek will be able to defend relatively easily. And that didn't look easy around Toza for the Williams. A little Tokyo Drift, a little tipping in.
And Dalek, he looks in supreme control right now. Granted, Smitty only 5/10 behind, but all we have to do is just look at the ERS. Look at the ERS usage. Smitty's using so much to keep up, and Dalek, he's just saving every lap. He's got 80% now.
And Dalek doesn't have to worry about sort of having the Williams behind too close, because with no DRS, passing around here is definitely going to be a challenge for this Williams. And well, just staying with him is looking like a little bit of a challenge for him at the moment. Dalek with just supreme car control by the looks of it. Just not getting wayward at all.
He just needs to pull out 5/10 on Smitty out of the corner. He just needs 5/10 down the straight. That's all he needs.
Well, Smitty didn't even really deploy, and he's already at 6% down into the braking zone. So, and he looks like he's not going to be able to regen that and stay with the Haas. So that is, without Dalek making a mistake, that is very comfortable, even though it's only 0.4 of a second for Dalek at the moment.
Now, the tyre life situation comes into play when we get to the end. Dalek is on 13 laps. He's going to have to go another further 9 laps. He's going to be on 22 lap old inters come the final lap.
Yeah,
Smitty,
definitely.
he's going to be on 18.
That could be the difference. You really don't know. Who knows? Is a safety car going to play into this? Is it going to stop raining? Is the sun going to come out? Are we going to get a little stint on the soft compound at the end? Because it definitely looks like it's easing off to me.
Oh, definitely. It's still just trickling. It is so barely trickling down.
Yeah, it's definitely a light shower now. Not quite a drizzle, but it's the intensity is definitely wearing away the main storm cell. Smitty picks up a penalty in third, trying to keep up. We've been saying he's trying to push hard to stay attached to the Haas, and well, that's how hard he's pushing.
Yeah, and Smitty, he's having to juice, and Dalek, he can juice right back and have so much left. And I reckon we're going to have a dry race by the end. I reckon we're going to have a dry track.
I would love like 3 or 4 laps, even 2 laps of a bone dry circuit would be elite viewing.
if it's only the last 2 or 3 laps of bone dry running, do you pit?
It's one of those questions, eh? Because by the last lap, the Inters will be cooking it. Absolutely. But it's a short lap here. Unlike somewhere like Spa or Circuit of the Americas or, you know, a 1 minute 30, 40 lap time. It's only a minute, 15, 16 here in the dry.
So if it does end up like drying up and Smitty is the one that calls it and Dalek continues on, will Dalek have just enough drivability in these green striped Inter tyres to continue?
I've been in an exact situation like that on this game. The driver behind, so Smitty, had a penalty as well, and it went dry with 2 laps to go. He finished a 10th ahead of me by pitting at the end of the 3rd last lap.
So it's right there.
It's that was at Circuit of the Americas, so a bit of a longer lap time as there's a spin for Cuckoo Cowboy. And a safety car!
No, really?
Really?
A safety car for that?
A virtual Codemasters?
Now, what do? Do you continue on your current tyre?
Oh, you track position, we've seen it, how important it is. There's no way I'd be coming in. Even in the dry.
The rain intensity.
It just dropped off again, didn't it? It's a drizzle now.
It's non-existent.
Frizzle! Drive-through penalty speeding under the safety car. There is no excuse for doing that under a safety car. What have you to gain?
The clouds are really lightening up. I'm starting to see the slightest bit of blue come through those clouds.
Does someone be a hero and put on the soft compound?
Jackie, 3-second penalty.
Let's look at the penalties. 3 seconds for Smitty, Spicer, Kojaki. 5 seconds for Kufu Cowboy. A drive-through for AFR Frozzle. That's really disappointing for him. He's in such a good position and he's going to have to serve that after this safety car comes in. And we know now that that's the 4th safety car. There's not another one coming.
This will be the final safety car of the race. We'll still have a chance for a VSC, but no, that is the final safety car.
Yeah, the final full safety car where you can make anything up from it. As the Mercedes comes out in 17th place, and he is in the pack, mate. He is between Forehead and Zay.
He's going to want to get out the way as soon as possible.
If I were him, I'd pit up again under the safety car just to get out of everyone's way. Because you're already going to be a lap down on every driver.
One thing to note too, the puddles have disappeared from the
They
circuit.
have the standing. I was about to say the standing water's gone.
There's no puddles on track.
It's more of a greasy, damp circuit now than a wet surface, a soaked surface. So the track is drying. If it stops raining, will it dry?
You muted yourself again if you don't know.
I'm really good at that, aren't I? I really should unbind that when I'm commentating. I accidentally click it when I press number 1. Apologies for that. Oh, who's that in the wall? Zay!
There's Zay in the wall.
On the exit of Aqua Mini Riley, he just had a bit of a snap of oversteer. He went in a pretty good angle, so there might not be damage. But and someone else has just gone in the wall on the safety car. That is Is that Psycho? It is Psycho, and he is absolutely obliterating the corner there. And he has no front wing, so Psycho, a little mistake there under the safety car.
And poor Psycho, his awesome run of consistency over the start of this season comes to an end, unfortunately.
He's going to have to pit, and Kufu Cowboy pits it and parks it. Which is probably a good thing in the minds of everyone else who had him in the middle of the pack.
Yep, and it's perfectly within the rules under safety car, so
It is.
nothing wrong there.
Learned that the hard way. In Australia, can't do it under green flags. Fair enough though, because the cars can come out, which just causes chaos. And well, you can see it. His car is actually coming out. So under a safety car, it's a bit more, let's call manageable in terms of avoidance, but just not what you want to be doing.
I have a feeling this rain is going to stop any second.
I got a feeling that Dalek's gonna win this race.
Still,
But now that I've said that, I put the muzz on him. I put the muzz on him. Something's gonna happen. The commentator's curse.
what have you done?
You're welcome.
The dreaded commentator's curse.
Well, with a potential penalty for the driver in third place, could someone like Zay with no penalty or a Basing get up there on the podium? Who knows?
It's very true. The podium spots are still very much up for contention.
And with another lap of safety car to come,
I reckon. Ooh.
unless it calls it in right now, we're getting another lap. Under Burnt Mylander's watchful eye.
We're getting another lap.
So it's going to be 4 laps of racing. Does someone like Wahid gamble on slicks? Because to get from 16th to 10th is already going to be a mission.
Can't gamble on sticks. It's still. The rain is still falling. As light as it is.
It's still raining, but he's got nothing to lose.
The track surface is still a mirror.
It's still wet. Yeah, it's still wet. He would look like a bit of a rock star though if it did go dry.
Just like Dalek.
Yeah, well, Dalek pitted when the safety car came in. So he's even showing that that's a viable option. If it's the right tyre, it's the right tyre.
That's it. And this safety car has just been a blessing. He's managed to save tyre life in his car.
It's a blessing for Smitty in terms of ERS. It's a pain for Smitty in terms of that penalty. Luckily behind him, 3 drivers as well with a penalty, and that should give him the space he needs to maintain a podium place.
That's it. And that gamble by David all those laps ago is just paying off in spades, regardless if he even finishes 5th. He is so many positions above where he would have been. And there we go, safety car in this lap.
And this does wonders for Dalek's tyre wear. But here we go, 4 laps of racing ahead of us. Who is going to come out on top? When does he go? When does he go? He went in a pretty similar place to Sneaky last time, but when does he go? He's gone there. Middle of Ravatz's. And, well, he's got Smitty a little bit napping. 0.7 of a second as we cross the line. And Basink, he has gone off at Ravatsa Su. He's had a spin on the restart, so he is falling back to last. With the first
Has indeed caught Smitty napping.
Already
almost a second.
On Mr. Spicer down towards Villeneuve. Kojaki a little bit later on the brakes, and he is up into 5th place. And remember, he was in the pit lane at the end of lap 1 with damage. It's been a great drive back to the top 5 from Kojaki.
Yes, after that horrible incident at the start involving multiple cars, he's back into P5, which is a really awesome recovery. And we have Basney, who's around the Tosa.
A second spin in 2 sectors, so very unfortunate for him. He lost his rhythm with the track's conditions, and there's 2 spins, and his race done and dusted in terms of points. Zay, he was looking pretty aggressive there towards the Variante Alta, looking to shape a move on Mr. Spicer. unable to do it on this occasion. That might leave him a little bit vulnerable to Darkley here down into Ravazza, who's almost pushing him along. But he's just going to have to stay in behind for the moment.
I actually think that Dalek is not breaking away from Smitty now. I think those tyres...
Frozel in the pit lane to serve that drive-through.
I think those tyres are just starting to be on their way out.
He also doesn't need to push away because Smitty is no immediate danger because he has that penalty. So he's got a buffer between him and his nearest rival for the win at the moment.
And he needs to keep Smitty between himself and forehead.
Yeah, all he has to do is maintain the position, and well, we've seen him do that for many, many laps already this race. So he knows he can do it. He's just got to keep his head down and focus for the next 3 laps.
A few laps to go now. We're in the twilight of this race.
Dry
Dalek running
tyres.
P1. We see our first driver taking a gamble on...
It's still raining, mate. It's still the exact same as it was under the safety car. Look at Zay. Was he going to go try the outside of the Variante Alta? I think he is. Here he comes around the outside, and that is a beautiful move. And Basik is off already on the slicks.
It's still way too wet. He has got bowling shoes on an ice rink.
Penalty again for Darkley. Spinny's close, but he's not close enough towards the first corner. 0.3 of a second. Dalek holding on nicely.
On the penultimate lap here at the AFR San Marino Grand Prix.
Sneaky's back in the points after all of this, mate. So he's trying to make amends. A couple of points could be the difference at the end of the season. Oh, that is very late on the brakes at Tozer from him. He's pushing Saxo around. And off goes Frozel. He has retired. He has crashed at the exit of Tamburello. That'll be a local yellow. And the leaders have got 4 sectors to go, my friend. And there is a very slow-moving, slick tyre-wearing Aston Martin in the mix as well here. So this could get even... Could there be one last curveball in this race?
Refuse to believe so, but anything is possible. I reckon you got to just come back in and get the end of it. No, he continues on.
Stay it out. It's just... Oh, you'd hate to see it, but you'd love to watch it. Here we go, final lap here in Imola. Dalek leading, Smitty behind, forehead just on the back of these two. As down towards Tamburello we go. Dalek nicely through there. No curb usage, and Smitty is spun! Smitty is off! Smitty is off, and any chance of the podium has been washed away. He has driven himself off of the circuit and off of the podium.
Smitty does a Smitty and bottles on the final lap.
And Busnick moves out of the way nicely, so he is not going to interfere in this race. And Dalek is now got a 1.5 second lead towards Forehead, who is in second place. Kojaki currently on the podium on reserve with a 3 second penalty. Can he clutch out 0.4 of a second to Zay here and stay on at that podium? Out of Aquamirali for the final time to go. Kojaki will be going for it. He's got nothing to lose here. Through the Variante Alta, the Haas for the last time. Nicely on the traction. He's going a little bit easy, you can definitely tell now. Forehead closing in. He's down to 0.6 of a second. But that's not going to worry Dalek. He's had a car in that sort of time frame for the last 20 laps. Round Ravazza we go. Dalek from last to first. What a strategy, what a drive. And Kojaki is spun at the final corner. And Dalek wins from Forehead. And Zay.
After Kojaki drops it on the final corner of the last lap of the race.
Kojaki has bottled it. And Sneaky, mate, recovers to 5th.
He has just cushioned his championship lead.
It's a champion's recovery there from Sneaky, from last to 5th in what was it, probably about 5, 6, 7 laps of racing with those safety cars included. So
Damon will gain points, just not as much as what he would have
not the
hoped.
full
But
25.
still, what an amazing win after just a magical strategy call. Like, no one could have guessed that. That was pure gamble, and it paid off. He scored big.
A gamble. We've been talking about gambles all night, and this man came home with the lucky ticket, with the winning cards, with the money, with the trophy, with the champagne, and he has won here in Imola from Forehead and Zay. And Forehead joins us in the second place club, mate. Provisionally.
That's it. Forehead provisionally P2. A few notable penalties and incidents that will be looked at after the race, but overall, very, very entertaining race for a full wet race.
Yeah, absolutely. That was as wet races goes, that was a cracker. Sneaky with fastest lap as well in 5th place, so that's another point for his championship bid.
That's it. So 3 cracking races. That concludes our AFR action for the night. We have real F1 starting in about an hour. So let's hope that's another cracking race at the Imola circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. So from everyone at AFR, we appreciate everyone tuning in and watching. Next week we head to... Where do we head to?
We head to the land of the rising sun. We head to Japan.
Oh no. That's not ideal. Anyway, we'll see you all next week in Japan.